Hey folks, welcome to Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin. This is a game that I like a lot. Some people consider it the black sheep of the franchise, but I think it's really good, so screw you. This is the Scholar of the First Sin edition, which is kind of a Game of the Year re-release. It's got various modifications, including changes to enemy placement and lighting, and a couple other things. So without further ado, let's get started. Do all the logging in business and whatnot. And start a new game.
Perhaps you've seen it, maybe in a dream, a murky, forgotten land. A place where souls may mend your ailing mind. You will lose everything. Once branded, the symbol of the curse, an augur of darkness. Your past, your future, your very light. None will have meaning, and you won't even care. By then, you'll be something other than human. A thing that feeds on souls, a hollow. Long ago, in a walled-off land far to the north, a great king built a great kingdom. I believe they called it Drang Lake. Perhaps you're familiar. No, how could you be? But one day, you will stand before its decrepit gate without really knowing why. Like a moth drawn to a flame, your wings will burn in anguish. Time after time. For that is your fate. The fate of the cursed.
Well, that was a bit of a trip. Welcome to Things Betwixt. So yeah, that opening cutscene. I love the hell out of that opening cutscene. It kind of introduces some of the core ideas that I really think that Dark Souls 2 explores and thinks about, that I want to explore and think about as we go through this playthrough. And that is kind of the intersection between memory, identity, and purpose. You know, in that cutscene, because of the undead curse, which is a whole thing, it makes you a zombie over and over again. This protagonist has kind of lost their past, symbolized by the woman and child melting, and the various allusions to forgetting, and then not really having a purpose, or rather going through actions but not really knowing why, standing before a decrepit gate not really knowing why. I think something that I want to explore and see how the game explores is, how does one constitute one's identity without a past? You know, is identity formed by the past, by memories, by things you have done? Or is it informed by your actions, what you're doing now, regardless of context? Is it a mix of the two? What happens when certain elements are removed? It's a lot of big questions, a lot of vague questions, but I think the game should provide some practical examples for us to think about. Oops, sorry about that, bud. So here in Things Betwixt, we are trying to make our way towards that big crack in the sky there, with all the light pouring out. On the way, we'll probably make it to that humble abode there, that's glowing orange. First, we got some weird gremlin dogs. They don't seem to want to do us any harm. There are a lot of dead bodies here. Are they scared of us? I don't know. Anyway, so tying into the whole memory and identity thing, we start off not with character creation, but as a cloaked, unidentifiable figure. You can barely see one's face, can't really make out anything about us. Now, of course, that can totally be undone if we decide to take off our equipment, because it starts us out as a standard male figure, but that just ruins the magic, so let's not do that. And it's not until a little bit later where we will actually define our identity. Starts us off with a rusted coin. So if you're not familiar with Dark Souls, go play the first one. It's really good. And if you don't like playing it, watch my series of it. It's pretty good. Starts us off with a rusted coin because the game likes to tell story and build the world through item descriptions. An old rusted coin, crushing the coin temporarily boosts luck. The coin is engraved with the image of a god that was worshipped in ancient times, but no one knows its true origins. So connected to the whole memory thing is kind of the identity of a nation, a country, a kingdom. At various points in the game, we'll kind of explore kingdoms rising and falling, rising to prominence and falling into obscurity. And I think that rusted coin sets the tone nicely because it's got an old image of a god that used to be worshipped. Its origins kind of unknown. We're not really sure. Something that was so important in the past has kind of faded into obscurity and become a little trinket. There's a secret path over there, but shouldn't follow it just yet. There's a dangerous enemy, and we are not equipped to deal with it. There is, however, an item right there. So if you watched my Dark Souls 1 series, you know that I kind of started to explore more and more the story and the lore of the game. I'm going to try to do that from the get-go in this series. However, I am a lot less familiar with the lore of Dark Souls 2 than I am with Dark Souls 1, which is saying something, because I don't know a lot about Dark Souls 1. So bear with me. I'm going to analyze things and come to my own conclusions, and maybe get some things wrong. Who knows?
What seems to be the ruckus?
Oh my, your face. The face of the curse. It's an undead. An undead has come to play. They all end up here. All the ones like you. You spoke to that kind old dear, didn't you?
You're finished. You'll go hollow. Yes, you'll become one of them.
Hollows prey upon men, feast upon their souls. This is the fate of the cursed.
What is your name?
So again, tying into the memory aspect, we are trying to recall our name. There was an identity, and we have to try to recall it. You know, in practice, it's still just character creation. But it's a nice little touch to tie in that aspect of memory and identity, even to character creation.
At least you know your own name. Here's your reward for sharing. It's a human effigy.
Take a closer look. Who do you think it's supposed to be?
Think back, deep into your past. Yes, it's an effigy of you.
Alright, character creation proper. I'm gonna try to make this relatively quick. I'll go over the basics. Got various starting classes. As with Dark Souls 1, any class can do anything provided they get the right stats. So really this is just how you want to start out. You've got standard warrior, can wield a lot of things. Knights, a little more durable than the warrior. Swordsman, dual wields, high dex. Bandits, also high dex, start with a bow. Clerics, start with some healing miracles that you can use. Good for beginners. Sorcerers, they start with some attack magics. Explorers start with a bunch of items. And deprived start with absolutely nothing. These things are losers. So like I said, clerics are great for beginners, I would say, since you do have access to easy healing, or more healing at least. And the weapon it starts out with, I think, is really good against a certain early game area. I'm going to go with Swordsman, just because dual wielding is something that was really added in for this game and makes a pretty big deal out of it. And I'd like to try it out. I do it a fair amount in other games, but, you know, showing off Dark Souls 2 as Dark Souls 2. Showing off a cool thing that it added. Starting gifts. can choose any one of these items. Unlike Dark Souls 1, a lot of them aren't that great. Life Ring barely increases your HP, and you get one early in the game anyway. Human effigies you find a lot of. Healing wares you find a lot of. Hominid bones you find a lot of. Seed of a Tree of Giants. That's for PvP mostly. Bonfire ascetics are a whole thing. I don't like them. But I wouldn't... If you know that you want to use them, if you know what they are and you know that you want to use them, you can grab them. I don't really like them. I'll explain what they do some other time. And Petrified Something. This is what I'm going for. And its purpose will be made clear relatively soon. You trade it for something a little more valuable later. Okay, so that's our starting set, starting class, starting gift. Now, we get to customize our character. Let's see. Clothes generally are designed for the medium-sized body here, but I'm gonna go slightly wider. You can also, like, increase muscle definition. I don't really know what's up with this. It's never looked very good. So, again, I don't want to spend too much time on this. What I'm going to do first is choose hair and hair color, just because I want to base all my other choices around that. I don't love the hair options in this game. This one's awful. I'm gonna go with this one. I like the asymmetry. I like having some bangs. I like having some volume. So, and then obviously I have to go for unnatural hair colors. I like... I kind of like this faded lavender-ish color. Let's go with that. Let's add a tattoo for funsies. And so you can choose a homeland. There are 4 choices. There's no flavor text. None of them look great, to be honest. So what I'm going to do is use the other mechanic, random, to find some similar faces and see if I might like those. You'll find a lot of horrifying faces by doing this. But I kind of like this one, actually. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I want the brighter hair. Yeah, okay. You can also go into advanced settings and mess with every individual measurement. It's ridiculous. It's silly. So I don't think you can put beards on women, which is unfortunate. So, yeah, in the interest of efficiency, let's finalize our creation and get started.
All people come here for the same reason, to break the curse.
You're no different, I should think. Doesn't stand a chance. Well, you never know. Go through the door and trot along to the kingdom.
But remember, hold on to your souls. They're all that keep you from going hollow. Oh, I'll fool you no longer. You'll lose your souls. All of them. Over and over again.
So a lot of people take issue with with the old ladies being so rude like that. They're being like, haha, you're gonna die. I kind of understand why the game was trying to do that. Dying is a part of the game that happens a lot. You will do a lot of dying. But rather than introduce that in an encouraging way, it's like, it's okay to die, it's gonna happen. It's introduced in a kind of derogatory way.
This is a limbo. A link between Drangleic and the outer world. Fair traveler, I know that you must have a story. Why else would you visit such a place? This lost, decayed kingdom. My name is Millibeth. The old women were once fire keepers. I am here to look after them. It is what my mother did, and her mother before her, and so on.
So Firekeepers, you may remember from Dark Souls 1, were people who tended the bonfires. They were kind of managing the humanity and keeping those bonfires lit as beacons of hope and life. These ladies don't really seem to be doing that anymore.
The old women were keepers of the fire. But now, the fire shows signs of fading. And the kingdom is beset by hollows. The old women are sisters. I am told there was a fourth. Long ago, firekeepers were commonplace. But now they are lost, scattered to the winds.
So I suspect that the old lady from the opening cutscene is probably the fourth. I mean, these ladies know that the one in the cutscene existed. They referenced her, but cannot confirm.
The old women are...
Yeah. So once characters start to repeat their dialogue, they're done. Okay, so before we head out, there's something I definitely need to do. Let's get rid of that frickin' coat and hood. I hate how it looks. Makes it look like I have cactuses for legs. Don't worry, we'll get a real shirt soon enough. Grab a human FG there. Talk about what those do in due time. I don't want to front load too much information. So now that we have decent weapons at our disposal, we can go take care of that monster that created those huge footprints. It's a biggin'. Okay. So this is an optional fight. You do not have to engage in it. And indeed, if you're a beginner, you probably shouldn't. But the prize is awesome. Woo. So you can see how much HP this thing has. So it's going to take a lot of attacks in order to KO this thing. But luckily, there is an AI exploit we can use. It's a little annoying to try to do. But if you stand behind it, it will do butt slams. If you stay behind it, it will repeat said butt slams. Butt slams are pretty easy to dodge, so you can just keep baiting him into doing them. The annoying thing is that he'll often butt slam into a wall, which makes it hard to be behind him. But managed to make it work all right. So for defeating that enemy, we get a stone ring. Let's check that thing out. The beloved ring of the gallant shieldless Lothian, formerly of Ferosa. Hits greatly reduce enemy poise. The effect may seem trivial, but for those who comprehend how critical it is to exploit a hole in enemy defenses, the significance of this ring will be clear. So basically, it makes it easier to stagger opponents. If you hit them hard enough with certain weapons, they'll kind of be knocked back and won't be able to attack, and they'll be open to being attacked even more. Stone Ring makes that a lot easier. I cannot imagine playing this game without the Stone Ring. I get it at the beginning every single time. It is so useful. Alright, anything over here? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Okay. We also got a nice 1,000 souls. Souls serve as both experience and currency in this game. So now we can head out the back door here. And there is a bonfire. Bonfires are places of respite. We may also light torches on them. Bonfires serve as checkpoints. They also serve as a lot of other things that we'll get into as they become relevant. But for now, they'll serve as a convenient place to end this first episode. I know I'm ending the episode before I've even gotten through the tutorial, but roll with it, alright? So, for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.